We are back here with the White Sox franchise as the old ball club's going to be playing host here at Guaranteed Rate Field, taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Toeing the slab for the Sox on the day is the right-hander Sean Burke, the Massachusetts man, looking to right the ship on his season as he has struggled mightily here through the season. Zach Gallen, the South Jersey man, toeing the slab for the Snakes, also struggled a bit. Take a look at the White Sox order he'll be facing, 1-9. And we'll start things off bottom half of the first inning. Nick Gordon leading things off, ground ball up the middle. That's a base knock. So he's on first base to lead off the game for Chicago. Brings up Andrew Benintendi, who has been crushing the ball this season, and he continues to do just that. Crushes one into the right field seats. A 2-run blast off the bat of Benintendi makes it a 2-0 lead here early for Chicago, and they were not done this inning. Brings up Andrew Vaughn, the very next batter. You hang him, he bangs him. Oppo Taco, an absolute blast. Back-to-back home runs. It's now a 3-0 lead here for the Chicago White Sox as they get on Zach Gallen early here, and they still weren't done. Eloy Jimenez comes up, muscles one out to right center field. This one's going to get down into the gap up against the wall, so he's got himself an easy two-bagger there with nobody out. Next batter up would ground out, move him over, so with one out, it brings up Yoan Moncada, who flies one at the left center field. That's an out, but it does tag up Jimenez from third to make it a 4-0 lead. We move things on. Bottom of the second, Paul DeJong comes up, ground ball out to shortstop Jordan Lawler. Take a look at it. The young Diamondback shortstop making a fantastic play to rob the White Sox shortstop of a hit there. And then he comes up in the top of the third and then just hits a screamer into the seats. A line drive home run for Jordan Lawler's first career Major League Big Fly. Gets the D-backs on the board. It's a 4-1 game, as Burke had it going a little bit in the early innings, but then starts to really lose it here in the top of the fifth as he walks Rojas. Then it brings up Moreno. He takes one to the left center field up against the wall. That scores Rojas all the way from first base. Moreno stands on second with one out. We're now with two outs, brings up Jordan Lawler. He hits one to dead center field. This one's going to get over the head of Benintendi, playing center on the day, and that's a ground rule double. It's a 4-3 game now. Brings up Carrera, Ozzy Carrera. Two outs, goes at the left field. That is another double. Lawler scores. Carrera's on second. It's a tie game. So now Michael Rucker comes on as we move things on to the top of the sixth. Take a look at his numbers. He's been fantastic out of the bullpen this season, and he continues to be here as he strikes at Gurriel and then brings up Christian Walker, punches him out on the fastball down and away for out number 2, and then it brings up Corbin Carroll, who hits a pop fly into no man's land here. Benintendi gives it a dive but cannot make the catch. So Carroll's on second base with two outs, brings up Rojas, pokes one through the right side of the infield, and that would score another run for the D-backs, as it's now a 5-4 lead for them as they take the first lead of the game. But then Rucker would strike out Moreno to strand one with two outs, and he picks up 3 Ks in the inning despite giving up the one run on some soft contact stuff. We move things on to the 7th inning now, where Matt Foster, coming on for the 15th time this season for the Sox with one out, nobody on, hanging curveball. That's going to be peppered into left field, lands in front of Gordon for a base knock, brings up Carrera. He goes into left field as well, so back-to-back base knocks for the Snakes. Brings up Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who hits a line drive right at Vaughn, almost throws it away from Sheets at first. It's 2 outs, 2 on for Gurriel Jr., and he proceeds to power one over the left field fence, a 3-run blast, and this game has been busted open by the Snakes. A 4-0 lead gone just like that for the White Sox as they end up losing this game. They do make it close in the quick manage yet again once I gave up and was like, all right, we're just simming the rest of this one. So the final ends up being 8-7, but still a loss for the White Sox on the day. Jordan Lawler gets player of the game honors. He went 3 for 4 with a home run and a double, his first career home run. Gurriel Jr. had a 3-run home run as well to bust things open. Andrew Vaughn, 4 for 5 on the day. Did not matter though. Benintendi went 2 for 5, had a 2-run home run in the first. Sox battled back, like I said, but ultimately just too many runs given up early, or too many runs given up total in this game. Blew that early 4-0 lead. And before we move on to the next game here, Sean Burke, you stink. You're going down to AAA Charlotte. He's going to pitch for the Knights here, and that means that we are going to be calling up Sean Jelly from Charlotte. He's going to slot into the big league rotation for us, the 6'11" man who came over in the Jake Berger trade in the offseason. And we are now here into late May on the season. The Sox not doing well, as we would expect. And we are also going to be making some changes to our bullpen here, as Kendall Graveman has unfortunately been really bad in that closer spot. Good for the tank, but not good for his trade value, so I definitely should have traded him last year. I'm like the number one you always trade relievers guy, so I don't know why I decided to hang on to him, but we did, and now we are really going to be paying the price for that if we can't deal him at the deadline, because he has like a 7 ERA. But Gregory Santos is now going to slot into that closer position, and then the setup man is going to be Michael Rucker, because he has been fantastic. The White Sox are once again at home here at Guaranteed Rate Field, playing host to a division foe, the division-leading Minnesota Twins, and toeing the slab for them is their new ace, their new number one hitter, Shohei Ohtani, making his 11th start of the season for them. Take a look at the White Sox order 1-9, as well as the starter on the day, Luke Weaver, making his 10th start here for the Sox. Also, the Twins lineup 1-9 on the day. We'll start things off top half of the first inning. Weaver had things working early. Ground ball with 1 out by Austin Martin. Nice charge there from DeYoung. And then it brings up Ohtani, and he just gets punched out on the fastball. So Weaver, scoreless top half of the first inning. Move things on to the second. Started off pretty good. Ground ball, Buxton. Sheets knocks it down, flips to the covering Weaver, and they still get the speedy Buxton. Then Polanco comes up, and this is where things start to take a turn. Ground ball, left center field, slow roller up against the wall. So he's on second base with 1 out, brings up Vasquez as he rips one into center field. That lands in for a hit. Polanco's going to score from second base, and the Twinkies strike first. It's 1-0. So now with a runner on first with 1 out, Max Kepler grounds one past the sliding Sheets at first. Runner goes first to third. It's now runners on the corners here with 1 out for Trevor Larnach, the Oregon State man, as he pokes one into left field. That scores another run. It's now a 2-0 lead for Minnesota. Still 1 out in the inning. Brings up Anthony Prado as a ball gets into the dirt to Sebi Zavala, and then he just chucks it into left field. A run comes in. It's now a 3-0 lead. So runner on third now, still 1 out. Prado hits one out to left center field. This one lands in. That's another RBI. It's now a 4-0 lead here for Minnesota. Still 1 out. And then Royce Lewis comes up. Ball to him, gets in the dirt. Runner moves at the second. So he's in scoring position. Lewis then lines one into right field, and they finally get the second out. Runner does not tag up, but then Austin Martin comes up, pokes one into right field. That lands in for a single. Runner's going to score on that as well, so it's now a 5-0 lead for the Twins. Check things in with the bats as they finally get out of the inning, as the Sox are now at the dish, and Moncada hits one past a glove of Buxton in center field, and he's going to just chug his way around the bases. He's going to end up on third base here with 2 outs, but unfortunately, Oscar Colas could not drive him in. Hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop. Nothing going for Chicago. So top 3 now, Byron Buxton. Ground ball finds a hole. That gets through, so he's got a lead-off single here in the top of the third. Brings up Polanco, and he continues to hit a long fly ball in right center field. This one's in the seats, a 2-run blast, and Polanco gives the Twins a 7-0 lead here in this ballgame, and that would pretty much end things. Just not the day for the White Sox. They end up losing this one 11-0 over the top of the division Minnesota Twins. Ohtani gets player of the game honors. He goes 8 innings, only gives up 3 hits, strikes at 11 batters, no earned runs, obviously, 1 walk. Weaver gave up 7 earned runs on 9 hits and only 2 1/3 innings pitched. Just the complete opposite from the starting pitchers from each of these teams, and then obviously no offense against Ohtani because he is insane. The Sox are going to be hitting the road here this time as they head up north across the border to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays at Rogers Center. A toe in the slab for them is Alek Manoah, making his 12th start of the season. Take a look at the White Sox order 1-9 on the day that he'll be facing. And then also On the bump for the White Sox, it is Sean Jelly making his second start here in the big league since getting the call-up from Charlotte, the newest Chicago White Sox. And there you have the Blue Jays order on the day as well. We'll start things off bottom half of the first inning. It's Santiago Espinal taking one to left field. This one's going to get up off the wall, and that's going to be a one-out double for Espinal, so he's in scoring position. Brings up Bo Bichette, hits a ground ball at the shortstop. Easy play for DeYoung, Toronto legend, and that's now 2 outs. Brings up Vladdy, ball gets away from Zavala, and then he does it again. He does it again. Just throws the ball into left field, and Toronto strikes first. But then Jelly with 1 out gets a ground ball. Diving, knocked down by Sheets. He'll step on the bag himself, so it's only a 1-0 lead for Toronto. Move things on top third here, Paul DeYoung. Toronto legend, left center field, up against the wall. He's got himself a 1-out double, so he's in scoring position here. Brings up Nick Gordon. He would proceed to ground one over to the third base side. That's 2 down. Runner still on second, brings up Benintendi, fly ball, deep center field, but not deep enough. It is caught by Kiermaier. Nothing going for the Sox. Move things on bottom of the third here, ground ball out to Vaughn at second, diving stop, but cannot field it cleanly. So runner on first, nobody out, brings up Bo Bichette, who hits a high, deep fly ball to center field, but it is caught right at the track by Benintendi. And then the runner would retreat, so 1 out now. And then Vladimir Guerrero says, no problem, I'll just hit it even deeper. An absolute bomb into left center field. A 2-run blast, and the Blue Jays are now up 3-0 in this game. But then Benintendi, the one man who hits on this team, line drive, right field, over the fence. A solo shot. The Sox finally get on the board. It's a 3-1 game. Move things on bottom 6 here, as it is going to be Matt Chapman grounding one up the middle for a base knock with 1 out. So then it brings up Danny Jansen. He also gets a base knock, so back-to-back singles for Toronto. Chapman goes first to third, and then Benintendi, for whatever reason, throws it to third, so the runner moves at the second base on the throw. Then it's going to be Dalton Varsho intentionally walked to set up the force at every base. Aaron Bummer is going to come on out of the bullpen to end Sean Jelly's day, and Bummer, the ground ball man, gets the strikeout on Kevin Kiermaier for 2 outs. And then Kevin Biggio, ground ball to second base, and Aaron Bummer gets out of the jam, keeps it a 3-1 ball game. But the Sox bats continue to disappoint here as Gavin Sheets starts things off with a double. He's on second base with 1 out in scoring position. Tying run at the plate and Bobby Dahlbeck, and he just whiffs through a fastball for out number 2. And then Oscar Colas just whiffs through a changeup that he could not see coming way down in the zone, or way down below the zone, I should say. So back-to-back Ks, strands the runner, brings on Kendall Graveman to continue his stinky poo-poo season. And here in the bottom of the 7th, it's a bunt by Whit Merrifield and a nice play by Bobby Dahlbeck to charge that and get him out. But then it was nothing else went nice this inning as Espinal grounds one up the middle. That's a base knock, so runners on first. Brings up Bo Bichette, and he gets his home run on the day. Had almost one earlier in the game, but actually gets it here this time. A 2-run blast. It's now a 5-1 lead for Toronto. The final in this game would be 5-3, as the Sox do get a couple more on the day, but still, just the offense continues not to really do anything here for Chicago in this season. As they drop this one, Vladdy gets player of the game honors. Bo Bichette had a home run as well. Alek Manoah goes 7 1/3, 7 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. Sean Jelly didn't have the worst day, just the offense did not pick him up at all. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Chicago White Sox franchise here on MLB The Show 23. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I'm saying, Hard Knocks is a bad show.